Cheers. Hello. I just realized I was talking for literally 3 minutes muted, so that is nice. Huge win. Definitely not day one. Yeah, Peter White, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, great start. Okay, I'll run through everything again. Cheers, Peter, by the way. Thanks for coming and hanging out. So today we're drinking some Doc Swinsons Exploratory Cask stuff. I'm only going over 2 reviews today. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter live stream for me. Cracking into a little under 6-year-old MGP pick to kind of pregame the palate, and then we're going to get into them. Long story short, wow, what a waste of the first 4 minutes of this live stream. Well, if you started in that and you're still watching, thanks for watching. So for everyone out there, what's your go-to MGP picker, if you will? Who is picking MGP barrels that you're really excited for, or you love what they're doing from a blending standpoint? For me, the 2 names that come to mind, it's Doc Swinsons and Barrel. Mostly Barrel because they're doing a bunch of different sources, so I think that's exciting, and I love the finishing stuff they do. And Doc Swinsons, man, anything they've released with their label, I'm becoming a huge freaking fanboy of nowadays. Yeah, that's just a solid, fruity, sweet, vanilla, bourbony, brown sugar. Yeah, it's just nice. I mean, it's hard to not love MGP. I remember there used to be a day where I didn't really love MGP, but man, nowadays it's freaking fantastic. This one's a spicier pick though. Getting a lot more baking spice on this. Peter White. I'm a huge fan of Doc Swinsons. The ones I've had will take Sagamore over Barrel. Well, yeah, Sagamore for rye wise. I'm talking Barrel for their bourbon. Yeah, no. Sagamore for rye, Doc Swinsons for bourbon, and I mean, Barrel, I do like their Seagrass, but I haven't really loved a lot of their barrel proof ryes that I've had. So I guess we'll just kick right into it because again, I kind of want to make this a little bit of a shorter live stream. We'll just get right into it with the Bossa Nova, Bossa Nova Exploratory Cask, release number 23-0002. Bottle number 2013, so 2013. Proof 112.8, and this is Doc Swinsons MGP, finished in Brazilian Amburana casks. And so I had about a pour from each one of these previous to this, as I've just recently gotten them, and I'm not gonna lie, this has been probably one of the more exciting pours I've had this entire year so far. So without further ado, and also this is my first Amburana finished whiskey, as well as I've tried Penelope Rio, but I only had a sample of it, and I'll be honest, this is way different. Pour in El Cuerpo. Oh, that was El Cuerpo, that's I'm gonna be getting into that one too. Yeah, because that is, Peter, is that the one from this year, release 23-6? Not a big Barrel fan, blends with Dickel. You see, I think Barrel is one of the few people who blends with Dickel well, though. I mean, not every bottle is a knock out of the park, but some of their stuff recently I've been really enjoying, especially the finished stuff. I like Swinsons. Backbone tends to have good MGP. Yeah, I'm Backbone's another one. I just recently got into them. I mean, as you can tell from like I think what was it, 2 live streams ago, but man, that was good and I've almost bought another bottle of it. It's on the to-do list. It just these 2 bottles took precedence. Ooh, awesome. It's like on the nose. So this is the Bossa Nova, the Amberana finish stuff. It is like cinnamon roasted, like honey cinnamon roasted almonds at the movie theater. Yeah, it's like that and like cinnamon toast crunch. And that might be just because someone told me that like, oh, everything finished in Amberana tastes like cinnamon toast crunch. But man, they're not wrong. This is straight up like cinnamon sugar. It's like cinnamon rolly, brown sugar, cinnamon toast crunch. Like it is so much cinnamon powder and that like granulated sugar, like that crystallized sugars on like a confectionery. Man, it just smells fan freaking tastic. Yes, yeah, I will agree. Redwood Empire is probably one of the best who like blends their own stuff into it. Yeah, because not a lot of people who blend their own stuff into it does it very well, in my opinion. A lot of, or they're just basically like blending out their stuff, which at that point, what's the point? Like, just stop distilling and just source things. Lost Monarch regular strength all day. Yeah, so Lost Monarch is that's a burr rye, right? Because the burr rye, yeah, that's one of the greatest like low proof pours under like $40. I would put my last bottle of mid-teen smooth Ambler Old Scout 10-year barrel strength against any MG. Well, yeah. Well, because any MGP out there is no longer like 10 years old. It is, like 5.5, maybe 6 if you're lucky. Those Nulus are getting okay, awesome. Yeah, those Nulus are getting up in age, like where I'm starting to see some are like 7 years old. But damn, they're like $110 for like a 7-year-old MGP pick. It doesn't really make sense in my mind to be buying those. Ooh, yeah, this is just straight up cinnamon toast crunch. A little bit of like an amaretto. Oh, it's such a smack of like cinnamon, brown sugar, it's almond nuttiness. Mm. And then it just finishes into like if you did like the cinnamon scoop challenge almost, but like not all the negative side effects of that because it is hella cinnamony, a little bit of oak, still a little bit of like brown sugary sweetness, but it's mostly that like brown sugar, heavy cinnamon, and like an amaretto nuttiness, like a little bit of like a cherry almond type flavor. Man, that tastes great. Just moving around my tongue. Pipe Dream wasn't my thing. I would try the cash strength though. You see, I had a sample of the cash strength and I didn't really care for it as much as the lower proof stuff. Like I really liked the cash strength bourbon comparatively. For some reason, and the bourbon is probably my least favorite of the lower proof ones. Smooth Amber, blah, 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 words. Smooth Ambler for me is a mix. I'm assuming you meant bag there. Be careful of the American Smooth Ambler. Yeah, I've seen some Smooth Ambler picks out there, but like none of them scream like what the concept of Smooth Ambler to me is, or at least like the concept I've been told, because they're all like $50 and they just like lower, or they're like $110 or 110 proof for like a $50-$60 like bourbon or American whiskey, and I'm like, I don't know. It just seems like it's a throwaway whiskey. I can get Redemption squat bottle 9-year MGP pick, but yes, $100. Yeah, you see, like that's like the biggest issue. It's like, man, Redemption. Yeah, maybe I'll have to get one of those. Like, so is it worth the $100 though? Because for me to go up to like $100 for whiskey has to be something exceptional. Like these were 75 bucks or so in my area. Like I left after taxes, I think it was like $78 or some shit. These are fantastic. I mean, long story short, this live stream was basically just an excuse for me to crack into my Doc Swinson bottles again. Because again, I only got the opportunity to try one pour. But this Amarana one is probably one of the more interesting pours I've had in a minute, because outside of it was that and the Iron Root Icarus or whatever. Those are the two most exciting pours I've had in the last like few months, just because this is so heavy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the Amarana way took over. This is not as bourbony as a lot of bourbons out there, even finished bourbons. This is so much more like cinnamon, brown sugar. Like it's almost borderline getting to the point where it's like overpowering. Like it's tasting borderline like artificial, if you will. I love it though. I think it's fantastic. Like, it makes me want to go to the freaking Walmart down the road and buy a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and just like pour this in it and eat it like that. Like, that's how much I'm really digging it. Most Swinsons is worth the $70. Yeah, for me, Swinsons, like, it's just like $70 is kind of my go-to price range for bourbon. It used to be like 50, 60. Now it's like gotten out to 70, because like that's where you have to really go to like get something exceptional, like these exploratory casks ones. But I have not been disappointed with a single Doc Swinsons I've had. Even their peated rye that they gave me, because they sent me a few samples a little while back. We did them on the live stream. I'm sure most of you guys remember, but like I didn't really enjoy per se the peated cask finished rye, but like it was still a good pour. Like, it wasn't a pour I went out of my way to buy, but it was a good pour. I liked it, but the Dex casts are much better. I have no idea how to say that. Doc Swinson's Alter Egos cash drink is still my fave. That, you see, that's one of the few I've yet to be able to get my hands on, because I don't like buying things online, because then you got to pay for shipping, and it's like $25 extra just for shipping and all, when like I can go to the store and buy these exploratory casks and it's not like a huge fee. Can't find any in South Carolina, unfortunately. Oh, well, that sucks. Yeah, we've just recently started seeing Doc Swinson's, like the exploratory cask and like the cask strength, and the other ones like the blended one, the Blender's Cut, here in Arizona. Like, before a year and a half ago, I didn't hardly ever see them, but now like they're really starting to pop up and kind of be more prevalent. Yeah, that is good. It's cinnamon, brown sugar, an almondness, the amaretto, because it's like a boozy almond cherry with like cinnamon encrusted. It's like if you took like that amaretto cherry and you crusted in cinnamon and then you ate it. Although that doesn't make much sense, because that's not anything you would ever do in real life. Maybe you're just drinking amaretto while you're eating some freaking cinnamon rolls or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but man, it is good. This might be one of my favorite bottles this year. I mean, this will definitely stick out in a blind, so it'll kind of hard not to be biased on it, but I can see this doing really, really well in a blind at the end of the year. Although I will say the things I have heard about Amarana finished bourbons, 100% true, at least in this one case study, which is one of one. But it's very much so the cinnamon toast crunch flavor profile. Like it's very heavy on the baking spice and the almond. But it really took over a lot. Like it's some finishes are significantly subtle and some are less subtle than others. This one's not even remotely trying to pretend it's subtle. Like this one is bold, it's bright, it's in your face. Like it is here to stay. I still have a bad taste from the lot 40 cash strength rye peated. Well, Lot 40 is Canadian rye, so I feel like Canadian rye is a little bit more like subtle and vibrant compared to a lot of the like MGP rye we find. Prideful Goat 6-year bourbon, MGP, so I'll check that out soon. Yeah, I bet that's probably pretty solid. I mean, 6-year-old MGP, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Just like this stock Swinsons pick I have, like it's not my favorite pick, but like for a $50 bottle, man, that thing's great. Not as good as the other pick I got from Doc Swinson's, but the other pick I got was a 5-year-old pick that I spent like $70 on for some reason. So it's just kind of, I guess it's just some picks are more expensive than others and other things like that. So this next one and last one we're going to get into, because again, like I said, this is going to be a shorter live stream. We're about 20 minutes in and we'll expect kind of like 45 to close this SOB out. This one is the El Cuerpo. This is 113.6 proof PX sherry finished bourbon. Let me see if there's an age statement on any of this or like a... Okay, when it comes to finishing... Oh, wow, I didn't know that. So on the back here, it says our finishings can range from a few months to over 4 years. So that's insane. 4 years is a long time to finish something. But yeah, this is basically PX Sherry finished. Do you have a P.O. box? No. I have an address, though. If you want, you can email me. My email should be in the description box down below. If not, it should be in the description of like any other video I do. But yeah, email me. I love to connect. Most Canadian rise 100%. The old lot 40, 11, and 12 cash strengths are on another level. I still need to get a lot 40. There was that one time I was like, oh, I'm trying to save money. So I passed up on a lot 40 and I watched it go by and I haven't seen it since because I thought it was going to be there to stay, but it clearly has not been. So I need to find one someday soon. Cheers all, just grabbed the Swinsons rum finished rye today. Looking forward to cracking it open tonight. Is that the lower proof one or the like is that the exploratory cask one or just like the normal, what is it? What is that thing called? Where they like blend it in the barrel type thing and it's infinity. No, it's not an infinity cask. It's I forget what the term is. That's one of the only bottles. That's the only bottle I personally broke because my dog broke the rest, but that's the only bottle I broke in this studio when I was moving. I accidentally clipped it and it shattered. It smelled like rye whiskey in here. Thank you. 90 proof. So yeah, Solera, that's what it's called. That is a good one for like the 95 proof, like $35-40 it is a really good rye because that sweetness really balances out the spiciness, so it kind of plays this like sweet and spicy dance back and forth. Again, I'm kind of a Doc Swinson's fanboy though. I know like people are into like their own interests or whatever, or they're kind of fanboy over some bottles because I know a lot of people fanboy over the smoke wagons, but In my experience, Smoke Wagon is decently okay. Their branding is probably better than a lot of people, but in my experience, they're not as good as a lot of the other people blending MGP out there. Like, for example, Doc Swinsons. Oh man. Yeah, let me know what you think about that Solera aged one. Like, again, it won't be the most exciting rye ever, but for the price point, it's hard to argue with the quality it brings. This one's more of like a dried red fruit on the nose. I still get a heavy baking spice, but it's not that artificial cinnamony like baking spice that I was getting on the Amberana, which makes sense because the Amberana, that's very much so kind of like a hard right turn into the wall going 90. Yeah, heavy red fruits, a little bit of that cinnamon still. What is that? There is a note that I can't quite put my nose on or my finger on. Yep. Yeah, I don't think I'm buying any more Smoke Wagon moving forward. Man, I'm having a hard time with whatever that note is. Like, there is a note that I just can't quite explain to you all. Is that like a plum or like a blueberry? It's like a blue fruit. A little bit of brown sugar as well. Let's go ahead and palate this SOB. Ooh. Ooh. It's kind of like an apricot on the palate. Apricot, vanilla, sweetness, lots of like vanilla, caramel, red fruits. Not quite hay, but there's like a very bright like vanilla, not grainy, but it's bright. Yeah, I love that. So I get that kind of like plum up front, and then it kind of devolves from like a blue fruit to a red fruit because it's like kind of like that plum, and then it becomes like almost an apricot as it goes through. Nice oak, a little bit of brown sugar, a slight tinge of like this like bitter oak on the tip of the tongue towards the finish. Yum. I will say I kind of gravitate towards the Amberana cask, not as like a traditional bourbon, if you will, but as like it's a lot of freaking fun because I've just never had anything like that. So to me, it's really, really exciting because again, I've never experienced an Amberana finished bourbon. So I'm not used to getting those heavy cinnamon, sugary notes. Whereas that one is super freaking exciting. And this El Cuerpo, it is really, really good, but it's not as adventurous or like out of the blue for me because I've had a lot of sherry finished bourbon. So I'm going to say I kind of like the Amberana better, but again, both of these are really, really good. So I tried a few of the offerings from last year because they sent me some. And I think they kind of cranked it up another gear this year because I think last year's batches were really, really good. But these are like last year's batches were like really good. These years are like really, really, really good. So I'm loving both of these bottles, especially for the $70 I got both of these for. Like super, super happy with where my money went with those. Like much better than buying the Smoke Wagon unfiltered. Yeah, that is really good. Yeah. I love that red fruit. Here, I'm going to compare this to just the normal like 5.75 year bourbon pick I have. And kind of compare them. See, because I can imagine this is probably around that same like 5 to 6 years old, just finished in sherry rather than, just being a straight up bourbon. So, nuttiness, bitter oak, spicy, sweet vanillas, red fruit. Ooh. I love that plum, that initial like plum purple fruit. I'm getting blue fruit, purple fruit, red fruit, blue fruit, green fish, red fish, whatever. No, but that initial like blue fruit is so exciting and fun. Yeah, this is exceptional compared to this pick. I know this is a pick, so it's like kind of hard to compare, but this is what I would say like an average 5-year-old MGP pick, at least for Doc Swinson's. Like I got this for $50, so there's nothing super exciting about it. And then this is exceptional. Like there are so many extra twists and turns, and it doesn't have any of those bitter oak and that spicy kind of like nuttiness in there. Okay. I think it's safe to say, I mean, I fanboy for a while now. Geez, we're only 30 minutes in. Whatever. We're going to cut this one short regardless. So, before I wrap up today's video, what would y'all like to see in the future? Because, again, I knew I was going to cut this short, so I kind of just turned this video into a, hey, I'm going to drink 2 bottles I just recently purchased and talk about it because I really liked these bottles with the initial pours I had of them. So with that being said, what would you like to see me film in the future? As far as live streams, what kind of content? What kind of content would you like to see me produce for you all? Because, again, I don't have anything planned next week, so I like to kind of see what you guys would like to watch me do, because I'll do it. Oh man, that cinnamon sugar is ridiculous. Do people really not like Amberana finished stuff sometimes? Because like this is out of this world fantastic, in my opinion. Like this is a super exciting pour. Again, kind of not really down the stereotypical bourbon route, but like it's a heavy finish, but man, this is great. Yeah, so much cinnamon. It's a bit more bitter than the El Cuerpo. Cannot find that finished stock here. Well, you got the El Cuerpo, so like the El Cuerpo is good. It's just the Bossa Nova, the Amberana cask finish stuff is like it's different to me. So that's kind of why I got like a hard on for it, if you will. It's because it's different than any other finished pick I've ever had, because I've had sherry finish. I kind of know what to expect with that, but this is like so different. It's exciting. Amron is a new trend, only just starting to get bottles like that on the shelf. Yeah, I would love to see them kind of play around with the Amberana a little bit more to kind of try to maybe not blend out, but kind of balance out that like overpoweringness. Because I think it's going to get old with doing just that single, like that, I don't know, single-sided type. It's that cinnamon, like what cinnamon toast crunch type flavor profile. I feel like that's just gonna get not boring, but it's it's going to get played out after a while. So I would love to see people start, if we're going to start seeing a lot more finished MGP in that, I would like to see some people trying to not blend out that flavor, but kind of complement that, pair it with it, maybe do like a secondary finishing. I don't know. Just thoughts. Just thoughts. Just joined the chat is one of those, the Funky Drummer. I have no, the Funky Drummer. It's the rum finished rye. So I do not have that. So both of these are bourbons. Do a collection video. I need to do that. That's an actual like video though. That's not a live stream. No, that's in the works. In a week and a half, I start a new job where I no longer have a bunch of computer equipment and all around here behind the camera that y'all can't see. So then whenever I do that and I finally get this whole room squared away and ready to just permanently be a bar and filming studio, then I'm going to do the whole collection tour and kind of how I have my studio bar area set up. Although it's not really a bar, it's more of a studio or a room with a bunch of alcohol all over the place. Alter Ego is a poor man's cigar blend. Yep. That's my kind of cigar blend. Grab a story time if you want something like, yeah. Story time also, like, I mean, again, the one thing I do, and this isn't anything negative about Storytime, like Storytime does picks and all, but I love that Doc Swinsons is bringing like the quality I found in the Storytime MGP picks to like a mass-produced level bottling, like a bottling that Peter White will find in Canada. Like that is awesome. Funky Drum. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's at my local liquor store. I just didn't pick it up because I don't know if it's going to be super exciting or worth like because I think it's like $80 there. It's a little bit more expensive than these bottlings. And these, I mean, maybe I should just go buy it. Well, if you send in a sample, then I'll, or you hand deliver. I'll actually, here in the next like 2 months, I'll have like some more stuff to send you guys anyways. Cause I got some few things in the pipeline, if you will. And I'll send you some of these too as well, because these are, again, I'm a huge fanboy of these, as well as I think these are going to do really well in the end of year blinds. Does anyone out there know what Sagamore Spirits limited or like finished releases this year? Because I know they did the rum stuff and then they did the port one last year, but I haven't seen anything coming from them that's like new in this year. So does anyone know any of that? Because I am extremely curious, because the port I missed out on, but the rum was super freaking exciting. And I haven't been growing any more Sagamore Spirits bottles, so kind of want to buy a new Sagamore Spirits bottle, if you know what I mean. Because yeah, I have like a cognac one that is out of this world. It is up there on the top shelf, because if not, I would freaking kill it constantly. But it's like one of those limited like distillery only bottles, because they actually sent me that bottle. Ooh. Excuse me. Alrighty. Sherry finish as good as it gets. Okay, yeah. So I haven't seen the sherry finish Sagamore Spirit, so unfortunately, I'm waiting for it. One of these days, it's gonna hit my shelves, and I'm gonna buy the heck out of it. But again, I'm not. Are you guys out there like really heavy into the buying whiskey online? Because I'm really not, because I just feel like those shipping fees are insane. I mean, rightfully so, again, because bourbon is so or just liquid in general, it's heavy, it takes up a lot of space, so it's not super cheap to ship, especially with all the legalities of sending things and taxes, importing, exporting through states and all that jazz. Like there's a lot of fees associated to those kinds of things. So I get why the shipping is as much as it is, but is anyone out there like really heavy in the whole I buy a bunch of bourbon online? Because I pretty much just shop around my local area. Yeah, might need to just do that. All right, guys. Well, I know obviously this is quite a bit shorter than I typically would run the show, but I am going to cut this, live stream a little shorter since I woke up at 2 a.m. this morning. So I'm pretty freaking out of it. I'm pretty tired. So I'm going to go get some sleep after this and whatnot. And I'll be back next week. And I'm actually going to be back. I'm starting to get a groove in here. So I'll be back. Not quite sure what I'm going to do. If you have an idea of what you want to see me do, put a comment down below or put it in chat. I would be excited to hear your thoughts and feedback. That being said, this is a wrap. Yep, Sugar Kitty 2 a.m. It's horrible. I freaking hate it. I'm just done with life. As far as closing statements, Doc Swinson's Exploratory Casks, if you're on the fence of any of them, don't be. Just freaking buy them. I haven't had a bad one, and I've had some weird peated finish ones from them, and I really enjoyed those. So I think that they're a buy on site if you find any exploratory casks that seem down your lane. Like, you can't go wrong with that. Again, let me know what you want me to do in the future. That being said, this is a wrap for today's video. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you later.